Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny opened up to only $60 million on opening weekend, despite having an inflated budget of $300 million.
We set out to discover why this movie became such a financial disaster. But first, he's Keto.
And he's Mio.
And the story begins in the year 1979.
In the year 1979, they said there would probably be 5 films in the series, even though in the year 1989, they named the third film The Last Crusade, so I don't really know what they were doing with that.
It would end up being 19 years until the 4th film was released, and another 15 years after that until our current adventure in the year 2023.
Even before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was released, they were talking about what the 5th film might be like.
In a Q&A, George and Lucas indicated that no actor would replace Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, and no new character would appear to replace Indiana Jones. However, some people did wonder after Mutt Williams was introduced in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
However, Mutt was never going to replace Indy. That was pretty clear from the get-go. George Lucas said that the characters of Mutt and Indiana Jones were 2 separate characters, and Mutt was never going to take over for Indy.
Following the release of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Shia LaBeouf expressed very mixed opinions about the movie. He was based and criticized the horrible movie for its obvious faults, and did not seem interested in returning to the role.
The film would go on to make $700 million worldwide, making it the highest-grossing movie in the franchise, ignoring inflation.
Harrison Ford expressed that he was interested in doing a 5th film when they had a story, and that would be up to George Lucas. And George Lucas said it would be tough to come up with a new object for Jones to chase, and they needed a good story to go with it. He, Harrison Ford, and Steven Spielberg would all have to agree on the new storyline.
Later in 2008, Lucas was still on the prowl for a new supernatural MacGuffin for Indiana Jones to go after, and it had to have a good, real historical background. He reportedly said during an interview, "You can't just make something up like a time machine."
Like a time machine. Now, in the Dial of Destiny, they didn't just make a time machine, but one might say they did the next worst thing.
Interesting note, on Reddit, when the screenplay leaks arrived online and the Antikythera time travel leaks got out, people rushed to attack and defend. One side declared that no one ever claimed that the Antikythera could do what it was doing in the movie, so it was stupid.
Some people try to defend it on Reddit, but the best defense that we could find seems to be it's the same as the Crystal Skulls, which is a pretty bad argument considering the fact that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is considered the worst movie in the franchise.
Later in 2008, Harrison Ford reported that Lucas's idea was crazy, but it was great. But then in 2010, George Lucas was still hard at work. But in 2012, there's no positive news on the project, but that there's no writer currently working on it. Not cancelled, but possibly no longer happening.
George Lucas retired later that year and handed over Lucasfilm to Disney. However, he still planned to work with Lucasfilm and do Indiana Jones 5. Disney, however, later that year said that they had no plans on developing any other properties in Lucasfilm. They wanted to ruin Star Wars first.
Steven Spielberg had previously been talked into the 4th one, but he was actually way on board for the 5th one. In 2013, Spielberg said he was still waiting on George for the story. Harrison Ford was still on board, ready to go, even if the character is a bit too old to do as much butt-kicking.
In 2015, Disney said that they were thinking of rebooting/recasting Jones with Chris Pratt, probably coming off that money high of Jurassic World, which they didn't get any piece of the pie from, and Guardians of the Galaxy, which did pretty well for Marvel.
In 2016, they did not have a script, but Disney confidently said that 2019 would be the release date for the 5th film.
In 2017, it was declared that Shia LaBeouf would definitely not be cast in this movie.
In 2018, the story had apparently taken a new trajectory with the writers. Disney pushed release to 2021, with Harrison Ford signed on and ready to go.
As of 2019, there was radio silence from Steven Spielberg. Not a peep.
In 2020, according to Harrison Ford, there were scheduling issues, now aiming at shooting in spring 2021, releasing in summer 2022.
And in 2020, James Mangold was selected to replace Steven Spielberg. Obviously, due to some events happening worldwide, things got a little bit delayed. However, in 2021, there are some quotes from Karen Allen from an interview for what she thought Indiana Jones and Marion's characters might be doing at this point.
They're really meant to be with each other. The point at which they got married, they'd been through so much, and I don't think they would have broken up again. She and he might go off on adventures, but they would also have some semblance of domestic life, and their son would be a part of it.
I guess no.
They finally finished shooting in February 2022, and later, in March 2022, Ford paid out of pocket for an expensive wrap-up party for the whole crew.
How nice.
As of July 2023, the series is likely done. And according to Harrison Ford, this is the final film in the series. This is the last time I'll play the character. I anticipate this will be the last time he appears in a film.
Now that we're in 2023, we start hearing some little whispers about how much this movie is going to cost.
Quick side note here, Harrison Ford has a very mixed bag of paychecks from these movies. For the first movie, he earned $5.9 million, but then he kind of cut his paycheck a little bit down for the next 2 movies with $4.5 million and $4.9 million consecutively. For Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, he brought home a sweet $65 million. However, in this latest movie, in the 5th installment, he dropped $40 million off and accepted a paycheck of $25 million. This is probably because he likes the character and actually wants to play the character, unlike he did with Han Solo.
Other actors and actresses in this film was Phoebe Waller-Bridge, previously known as L337 from Solo, the weird wide hip droid that nobody liked, and Mads Mikkelsen likely had a pretty large paycheck as well.
VFX, of course, course, cost a ton, especially after having to pay a full 20-minute segment with a de-aged Indy.
In a featurette, the cast and crew mentioned they wanted as much of the action to be real as they could, which of course is more expensive sometimes.
According to Collider, Northumberland cost 27,200 euros per day, or, in American money, $34,509.3 per day. Pretty expensive.
According to Cinemaholic, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was filmed in England, Scotland, Italy, and Morocco, specifically in London, Buckinghamshire, Northumberland, North Yorkshire, Glasgow, Glencoe, South Lanarkshire, whatever, Sicily, and Fez.
While there are tax incentives in these cities to shoot, it's still pretty pricey.
This is definitely one of the most expensive movies ever made at a $295 million budget, and don't forget to add marketing costs.
I'm pretty sure the time elapsing led to a lack of talent and passion for the project. I kind of feel like this movie was done just to get it done, and hopefully, of course, replace Indiana Jones with a woman.
Certainly seem to be trying to do that. There have only been some hints, probably to gauge public opinion, of some kind of Helena Shaw spinoff, Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character. However, I doubt anything will come of it. Perhaps for a throwaway Disney Plus series.
At this point, the franchise is truly dead.
That's basically how this entire movie ended up being a gigantic mess.
Let us know what you think about this background, and if you have any extra information you think we left out in the comments down below.
And if you want to go see our review of the film, subscribe, because it'll be coming out within the next couple of days, roughly. So to stay tuned with that, feel free to go subscribe.
Until then, go and take a look at this video over here. Should be pretty cool.
And we'll see you over there. But until then, he's Mio.
And he's Guido.
And we hope you have a blessed day.
Bye!